Welcome back to Centurion Holdings LLC. I'm Will, your Director of Training. With me today is my friend Carrington, Hoist Gracie Jiu Jitsu brown belt, who is in training for his black belt test. Good luck on that one. So today we're going to do 3 of the basic movements of Jiu Jitsu. These are things that you find when you're doing other techniques, but a lot of people don't teach them as separate techniques. We like to do that because it helps you when you're going to do things like arm bars, it helps you when you do sweeps, and it helps you when you're working on escapes. We do them as warm-ups, we do them as drills, and today you're going to learn them too. So the first movement we're going to work on is a simple bridge. You've seen this in our other video when we did our bridge and roll on the mount escapes. Today we're just going to show you the very basic movements of how this works. Alright, so you notice that Carrington is already in our mount defense position 1. What you're going to see is he's going to push the legs, raise his hips up, and get himself as high off the ground as possible. It's a simple bridge. This is not a wrestling bridge where we go up on our head. We're staying on the shoulders. And for the purpose of doing this as a bridge drill, you'll see him reach one arm up and he's going to go over his shoulder. It looks kind of like this. So again, he pushes up through the heels. Hips keep going. Hips come off the ground as high as he can get them. And he's going to turn and reach with the other arm over his shoulder. Thank you, sir. Okay, now we're going to give you a view of just a slightly different angle. It's the same thing. He pushes up with the heels, hips come off the ground, hand reaches, and you're going to see that he's turning his shoulders as he does this. Go ahead, sir. Good reach, good look through, back is arched. That's what we're looking for when we do this bridge drill. All right, now to give you a little practical application on how this one is going to work, one of the things we always work on with our Jiu Jitsu system is self-defense. So if I'm up here and I'm trying to hit him, using that bridge is going to force my weight forward. Self-preservation says I don't want to face plant, my hands end up going on the ground instead of on his face. So it looks a little bit like this. And he keeps that bridge and I can't catch him. Good, let me go. And again. Now I'm having to hold him up versus trying to hit him. And even what I can get him with, even though I can hit him in the head, there's not a whole lot on this punch. So that's why we really like to isolate just that bridging motion. Our second motion is the clock turn. So on this one, you're going to see one leg is going to come up. The hips are still coming up off the ground, though not as high as in the bridge. The head is going to turn, and that leg is going to come over the top of his knee, almost like a figure 4. So you'll see that his head now is pointing at 3 o'clock on the clock. His legs are pointing at 9, and his head wants to try to make it to 12, while that leg coming over the top is going to try to point this, and it's going to look something like this. Reset. Do it again. Reset all the way to position 1. So for our practical application, you're going to see that if he tries to do an arm bar like right now out of his guard and his head doesn't move and he doesn't do that clock turn, very hard to do this arm bar without turning his head. So when he does his arm bar correctly and he does that clock turn, now he's in the right spot to hit the arm bar. That clock turn becomes very important. And we see this with a lot of white belts. They'll stand here, they'll get a good arm position, but then they just try to throw this leg over the head without turning. Yeah, and you end up with some weird thing and they get their guard passed. So we work in this clock turn that helps him get that position to change his angle to get his arm bar. And changing the angle is everything. And the third motion we're going to work today is a very simple thread the needle. This is an excellent transition when we're on the bottom and we're trying to get up and we've got a little bit of space we can work on. So what it's going to entitle is, this leg is going to go under this leg. As he does a little bridge, turns on his shoulder, and he's going to turn from where he is now face up to where he's face down on all fours. It's going to look a little like this. Hips go up, leg goes through, and he turns on that shoulder to be in a better position. One more time. For our practical application on this thread the needle, what you're going to see is I'm attempting to get side control. Before I'm able to get there, he gets good position. He's going to have that near arm in my hip, that far arm under my far arm. And as I'm trying to pull in, and now he will thread the needle before I can ever get myself set and come up to a position where we're now in a more of a neutral position. All right, so this has been 3 of the basic moves we find in Jiu Jitsu. It's the bridge, it's the clock turn, and it's the thread the needle. And again, as I said earlier, these are 3 wonderful things you're going to need once you're trying to do submissions and you're trying to do sweeps and when you're doing escapes. So again, I've been Will with Centurion Holdings LLC. Thanks for watching. Check us out on social media and all the other good stuff you see. Check out the website, CenturionHoldingsLLC.net, and we'll see you next time.